Hello! So, we've got another company that is in the vein of sustainability and electric vehicles, and we just kind of wanted to bring the idea up to you guys, because before we invest this time, we would like to hear your thoughts. Let us know what you think. Good idea, bad idea? Let us know in the comments once we get into it a bit. So who do we got?
We got Eli Electric Vehicles, super cool company, on start engine. They've been around for a few years, and like you said, before we invest in it, because we do think it's a cool idea, we want other people's opinions. We have such a great audience, very knowledgeable about this area. So what do you think of Eli Motors? Let's get into it. Eli Motors has been around for a couple of years, and they are just starting to get their feet wet, actually delivering vehicles in the European Union to actual dealers and customers, which is a huge milestone for any company.
So their CEO, he's a bit of a young gun, Marcus Lee. He seems like a really bright guy. He's got a good vision.
And he came up with this idea while he was in college. He studied architecture, and what he started to realize was cities, towns, urban areas were starting to change. And the change required smaller vehicles to fit on smaller roads, more crowded roads. Instead of using big traditional cars, he said to himself, let's make an electric vehicle that was super efficient, super green, sustainable, and let's make it for the urban areas or small towns. Like a really, really good car, not bringing it on the highway, but getting you around town.
I really enjoyed that idea, just pretty much a commuter vehicle.
Absolutely.
Because what else are you going to really use for, a vast majority of your drives?
I agree, and he actually points that out. The vast majority of our drives are local, just really quick, down to the store, maybe to your work and back. And we're driving these giant cars. And this is something that John and I have discussed many times. When are we as people going to realize we can't keep up with our old ways? Driving around giant cars that weigh a ton, that get bad fuel efficiency and just pollute the environment is not something that we can continue to do. Eli Electric Vehicles is trying to answer that.
We're lucky. We live in a relatively small place, so things don't get as congested. But I mean, this is a really good fix for those really big urban areas.
Just think about the congestion. How much less congestion there would be if people traded in their big, large cars for these little Eli cars. One of the biggest concerns about electric vehicles is charging, and I think Eli has got this covered. Number one, it's a super small car. It's made of aluminum, so it's super light, and they're able to charge the car in 2.5 hours completely on 240 volts, or about 5.5 hours on 120 volts.
It's quicker than my phone sometimes.
Exactly. So you're getting a full charge, and with that full charge, you can go 50 to 70 miles, depending upon the configuration. For those of you living in a cold climate like us, they also offer battery heaters to keep those batteries nice and warm so the charge sticks and the batteries aren't harmed. So they've got the electric vehicle down, they've got the range down, and the charging is pretty great too. Now, you're gonna say it's only 50 to 70 miles, but for around town on a daily,
that's all I'm gonna need.
That's all you're gonna need. So I think they have a niche market, they've defined it, and they're delivering a really exceptional product.
Let's get into some more specs of this little EV.
It has regenerative braking. It'll actually recharge the batteries when you're braking.
It's also got power assisted steering and brakes.
Comes with a sunroof, keyless start, rear backup camera, and like I said before, it's entirely made of aluminum, which ultimately increases its efficiency and makes it really light.
And I saw that it was also made from polypropylene components. So with that combination of polypropylene and aluminum, it's actually a highly recyclable car, which is kind of interesting.
And if necessary, John can pick it up.
Yeah.
Another feature is its storage. It has a decent amount of storage behind the front two seats. They were mindful. If you're running around town, doing a little shopping, you're gonna need a place to put your crap. It also comes with heat and air conditioning, and for those of you who are interested, and this topic comes up a lot, 23-foot turning radius. It has a lot of cool features. Let's talk about a couple that kind of make us reluctant, and that's why we're coming to you to ask you what you think of Eli Electric Vehicle. 25 mile per hour top speed.
Don't get me wrong, I'm a bit of a granny driver myself, but I mean, even at 25, I'm going like 28.
Right, 25 mile per hour top speed is tough, and I think most of the towns in the United States, even in town, have 25, 35, 45 mile per hour speed limits. That to us is one of our biggest red flags. We want to know what you think.
Another big concern for this little vehicle is safety. It's a good thing that's not going on the highway, but I would get concerned even just getting moderately bumped by a big truck riding around in this thing, kind of do the pinball thing on the street.
I agree. Ford F-150 versus the Eli. I will be interested in learning more about what they're doing to deal with safety.
Another concern that we have is, from what we've seen, there actually hasn't been a whole lot of updates. They put out a few videos, like there's 3.
So in order for me to have found out that they actually have sold cars, they've delivered cars to dealers and customers, I had to go to their SEC file. You would think that they would have that more on social media, talking about
Really pushing it.
Pushing it, yes. So I'm curious about that. Why aren't they more into social media? Why aren't they getting their message out there more? We've reached out to them. They wrote right back to us, and it looks like we will be visiting them in the coming months once they get their production car for the US ready, which we are super excited about. But I think we'd both like to see a couple more videos.
Yeah. Who knows, maybe we'll get to do a couple for them.
I want to test drive this one.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. You and I can drag race at 25 miles per hour. And I think some of the issues that we're bringing up could be addressed through social media. I think other
Right.
companies do a really good job of that. They hear their community, voice a concern, and then they rush in to deal with that concern. I think Eli does have 2,600 investors, so they've got a lot of people out there investing their hard-earned money. I just wish we heard from them a little bit more.
Idea to you guys, let us know some of your primary concerns down in the comments. If that is something you would like us to bring up when we go see them, upvote it, and we'll see if we can't talk about it with them.
So we are super excited about Eli Electric Vehicles, especially their first vehicle, which seems to be selling in Europe. We want to learn more, be part of it more, and we want to take you for the journey. So please hit that like and subscribe button, and when we get more information, we'll surely bring it to you.
Take care of the 3 and be your best self.